I'd call the meeting order for Wednesday, May 15th, 2024. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ferrari?
Here.
Mrs. Taliani?
Here.
Mr. Murbaugh?
Here.
Dr. Lynch?
Here.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Here.
Mr. Pacetto?
Here.
Mr. Sarver?
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone this evening. At this time, I'd like the members of the board to look over the minutes of the regular meeting for April 17th, 2024. If there's no additions or corrections, I need a motion for approval. So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Murbaugh?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. Under recognition this evening, we have Mrs. Lori Terzin we're recognizing tonight, who is the head of our culinary arts program. And under her leadership, it's really grown and really prospered. I'll be honest with you, it's the talk of town. I'll tell you that right now. You're doing an excellent job. But really what brought this to the forefront is our meeting last month. We held the IASB Starved Rock Region Spring Meeting, and we had the state superintendent here, Mr. Tony Sanders, son, was the keynote speaker, and the culinary arts program catered it. Food, desserts, and it was just phenomenal. It was so good that they wanted us to do it every year. And I kind of looked at them and said, I don't know. But just an excellent job. And also, in February, they did all the desserts for the Wall of Honor for the 2024 inductees. And not to be left out, if you remember, the November board meeting, when they brought all the goodies. All right? So the culinary arts program is just striving, doing an excellent job under Mrs. Terzin's direction. Mrs. Terzin, please come up and meet the board. Lori, congratulations.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice job.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Shake her between. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, she's here to support. No, that's fine. Yeah, I just, before All right, under Division Spotlight.
Oh, did you want to do that first? Oh, you want to do the photo
You want
first?
to do that first before the spot? The other students?
Oh, yeah.
No,
Oh, no, they're doing the presentation.
for recognition.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Do a picture with them.
Yeah, do that. Okay. You want to do the picture of Lori first? Let's do that first. Do the picture.
We'll do the picture.
Do the picture, Lori. Yep, yep.
Smile, Greg. There you go. He told me the other day that he doesn't ever smile.
Under the Division Spotlight tonight, we have the English Department. We have Mrs. Emma Walk with the yearbook program. Mrs. Walk, Miss Walk, excuse me.
Let me get the monitor up.
Here you go.
Hello. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Emma Walk. I'm in the English department. It's my first year here at LP. It's also my first year ever. I also do yearbook, and these are my yearbook students. They can introduce themselves.
Hello, my name is Kayla Martinez. I'm a junior right now.
Hello, my name is Ruby Gray, and I'm in 9th grade right now.
Hi, my name is Naomi Spencer, and I'm also a 9th grader. My name is Paige Stevens, and I'm also a 9th grader.
They are only a fraction of the yearbook program. We have 6 kids total. We're missing Frankie and Gavin, who are also freshmen. But next year, we have a whopping 20 kids in the yearbook program. So we're making a big jump for next year. Thank you. And all of them are returning to do leadership positions. So I'm very happy with the crew I have this year. And I think we did a really amazing book. I'll show you all the covers so you can all see it. We got these in Monday. The seniors got their books today, which was very happy. They had a good time signing them, which is something we haven't had to do in a while. So I'm really glad they got to do it this year. But what I'm going to do for you today is I'm going to walk you through like how we actually make a page in the yearbook. And Cadence is going to actually model it for you as we go through. So we use a program called Yearbook Avenue, which is through Jostens, which is our distributor. And it's like all online. In previous years, they've had to do stuff through like Adobe with Photoshop and InDesign, and it's been pretty complicated. But this year it was super easy to learn. I think it was really easy for you guys to learn, right? Yeah. And as a person coming in to do this for this first time, it was amazing to just be able to do it so easily. So we're going to show you that. So you can see here, this is what it looks like for me and for all the students. On the left-hand side there, you can see all the pages in the book, and you can like scroll through for all of those. And at the beginning of the year, we decided we wanted to make some pre-made templates so we can just easily drag and drop those onto the page. So we don't have to worry about doing that because it takes quite a long time to do that because we were going for efficiency. So we're going to make for you a page. We already made a pre-made template. We're going to make a page about Dr. Robleski because we have so many photos this year. I think I went through and counted, and I think we're near like 100,000 photos, which is so much. We tried to go to as many events as we could, so we really tried to get a lot of photos, and he's at a lot of events. We got a lot of photos of him.
Not 100,000 photos of me.
No,
but just in general. Okay.
Yes. So on a yearbook page, we have a couple different things. The first thing is a headline and a subheadline. Those like tell you what the page is about. They're usually very witty or punny, so something along that variety. And I think we called ours Writing with Robleski for our artificial page here. So Candace will go ahead and type that so you can see what it looks like and how easy it is. Yearbook all pages also have something called a module, which is something kind of similar to what's going on the page, but it might be a little different. So for instance, Robleski was at the Senior Honors Awards. We've got a couple pictures of him shaking hands with some seniors. So we're going to put that on the right-hand side, and we'll just call that Senior Awards, so you know what it is. Another great thing about Yearbook Avenue is you can just easily upload images and then drag and drop them in. You don't have to like edit them or anything like that. It does have an edit option in there, but a lot of the photos we took this year don't really need editing. They came out really well. So we don't really have to mess with that a whole bunch. And the other thing we do in Yearbook a lot is journalism. I made sure my kids did plenty of interviews. They have a lot of interview practice with me, with students. We had a section in the book that was dedicated to them, so they made a whole page by themselves about whatever they wanted to, as long as it had something to do with the student body. And a lot of the time with that, it was them going into the lunchroom during lunch hours and just walking up to kids and going, hey, can I ask you a question? What's your Spotify Wrapped look like? What's your favorite sports team? Whatever they wanted to write it about. So they had a lot of practice interacting with kids and all that kind of stuff. And the other thing we practice a lot is captions. It's really important in the book for you to have good captions so you know what's going on, like what the picture is actually showing, where it was taken, all that kind of good stuff. And it kind of shows you a little bit behind the scenes, things the picture won't always tell you. Yeah, so what was your guys' favorite part of making the book?
My favorite part was my page. I did Cavaliers in 10 years, and I think it's really good because it shows the perspective and the future of some Cavaliers.
My favorite part of the yearbook was probably the girls' basketball page, the one I made. Just coming together and making the layout and putting the captions and stuff there, it came out pretty good, and I liked it very much.
I was in charge of doing the Spanish speaker pages, which is where I got to interview some Spanish speakers, since I also speak Spanish, and that was really cool to experience, getting to, how do I say that?
Interview,
Yeah.
talk about
Talk about,
a portion of our school.
yeah.
And then mine was the boys' basketball. I feel like they were more, like, obviously all the sports were energetic and, like, the pictures came out really good. But, like, the boys' basketball page kind of had, like, a little bit more going on in them. And my other one was also the girls' tennis was my favorite because there's more movement around and more, like, actually, like, moving other than just going from court to court down.
Yeah. Questions? Comments? Concerns?
Were most of the pictures taken with phones, with cameras?
We have a set of cameras in the room,
Okay.
and they all have their favorite. They all have silly names, like one's named Gilbert, one is Charlie. They all have their favorite, so they use one of the cameras, their Canon cameras,
Okay.
and they rent them out and go take photos.
How many books did you do?
We have printed 650 books this
Wow.
year, and we've sold almost all of them.
Yeah.
And we currently have a wait list going for kids who forgot to order in time. And I'm hoping to back order a couple books so we can get them all booked this year.
Thank you.
I heard it's success, right? The books are here?
Yes, the books are here. They came
Yeah.
on
That's
Monday.
awesome. So they're getting handed out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Seniors got them today after graduation practice. Everyone else will get them during lunch next
That's
week.
perfect.
Yeah.
Before the end of the school, that's perfect.
Thank you.
I started my career about 1,000,000 years ago as a yearbook advisor and a newspaper advisor. I watched her design this page faster than we could have picked a picture out. And we were in the days of, we actually had film, that we had to have developed. I can't believe this with that tempo. Oh my God. And the cropping of the pictures, you didn't have to do all, wow.
I will say, at the very beginning
Wow.
of the year, before we even jumped on computers, I had them do everything on paper so that
Yeah.
we get a feel of what
Oh
it
yeah,
was
it
like.
just,
So
my
then how they
goodness.
jump on the computer, it's just, oh wow, this is like way faster.
Uh-huh. Oh, it's incredible.
Well,
Incredible.
as someone who is of a generation too of working with VHS cassette tapes, I love the nostalgia of the cover this year.
Yes, I had to explain to many of my students what a VHS tape was. And as a 24-year-old, I felt a little too old in the
Yeah.
room that day.
Did they understand it when I used the word film?
You know what film is.
Yes, some of the people out here did, but
That's it. Thank you so much.
Great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, picture that.
Mr. Baker?
Yep.
We'll get a picture too with our presenters too. Nice job, you guys.
I'm smiling.
Oh,
He's got to do it again.
I don't know if you know anybody who does it. It would probably be some kind of big commercial sewing stuff. I've got a pool cover. It's a mesh pool cover, and some of it's coming apart in the seams, and it's towards the middle of the cover. So we're talking a massive, huge thing. I don't know what kind of, I figure somebody works on sailboats or, you know what I mean, or
You'd have
tarps
to
for.
see how big it is.
trucks
My
or
machine will take it if it's wide enough to get the fabric.
That's yeah. See, I don't know how thick. I haven't played with it, but if you want
My
to take a
machine will
look
do
at it,
I can take a look.
if that'd be a possibility, because I said, would it be easier to get it to just replace it? And they said, yours is kidney shaped.
There used to be a canvas shop in West Clocks. I don't know if they're still there.
Okay, I can check. I will check too, but I thought you might know somebody. And they said it would be a problem because it would have to be custom made and then it wouldn't fit right. This is the pool guys telling me that.
It's a daunting task.
Oh, I can't.
I cannot.
A canvas shop in West Clocks.
Okay, under public comment, we have some people signed up that like to speak this evening. Just to go over the procedures, you get 5 minutes to speak. At 4 minutes, I'll let you know it's 4 minutes, and please keep it to 5 minutes. And the reason for that is because this is a business meeting, and we have a lot of things going on, so please respect the 5 minutes. And we definitely want to hear what you have to say, so we don't want to cut you short, but please keep it within the framework of the 5 minutes if you can. Okay? First off, we have Crystal Longer.
Actually, I'm Teresa Schmidt, but Crystal has asked me to go first.
Okay, I just
That's
went from
okay?
one down. That's fine.
Yes. So at first I wanted to say, Dr. Lynch, I was on the yearbook staff at my high school back in the 70s, so totally get it.
Yep.
70s, that's like it's ancient.
My name is Teresa Schmidt. I'm a LaSalle County taxpayer. And the reason why myself and two other ladies are here tonight is we wanted to talk to you about the sex standards that we have currently in Illinois. And what I would like to do is, I understand that there's no microphone, so I'm going to be playing a video, and I'm just going to hold it your direction so you can hear it. And what it is the SB 818 that was passed, and it's actually Senator Sue Rezin, and it's talking, what happened that night when it actually got passed, so you can hear what was going on in Springfield. So I'd like to go ahead and play it for you. I hope everyone can hear it. I'm not sure you guys will be able to, but.
According to the Illinois State Board of Education survey of school districts that has recently occurred, nearly 70% of school districts that responded to the survey in Illinois do not provide personal health and safety education or sex health education to their students during school year 2021 to 2022. I believe all students in Illinois all Illinois public school students need and deserve age-appropriate, medically accurate, inclusive instruction that will affirm them and help them to be safe and healthy. That's what this legislation here does today.
The standards went too far, and that's why we are seeing tremendous pushback by the school districts and their school boards, and we believe in local control because what's acceptable in certain areas of the school may not happen in other states.
Look, it's 10:46 in lame duck session, and there's nobody here from ISB, and we're talking about ISB standards, and no one's here. I would ask you to pull the bill until ISB at least can be here to testify. When you're having it at 10 o'clock at night, 10:30 at night, having a committee at 10:30 at night, and there's nobody here from ISB, that's scandalous. That's what makes people of Illinois hate our government, and it's not right. And you're better than this.
My concern in seeing this bill, and I'm really upset with this because I've been talking with a lot of my friends who are teachers, and what I keep getting back is literally, if the state of Illinois passes another mandate, we're already not meeting all the mandates that we have because, quite frankly, there aren't enough hours in the school day to do it and still teach math and science and English and the education that our kids need. I guess I'm just saying, we almost need to take a step back and let's take a look at all the mandates we're imposing upon our schools and find out, is there any way to really fit them into a day or the week or whatever in order to cover them all? And I'm just not sure there is. So I quite frankly, while I am all for age-appropriate sex education, really am concerned about adding another mandate.
So that's the end of the video, and I'd like to just yield the rest of my time to Crystal, if that's okay. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Crystal Walkeren. Many of you know that I ran for the House of Representatives in the 76th District. I know that we have 1,222 students here at LP. Is that a lot of students? Yes, it is. I did receive over 1,500 votes through my candidacy. So I'm here speaking on behalf of my constituents. They reach out to me. How did we get here? This here is 13 Pritzker billionaires. So I'm not going to name them all off, but you get the picture. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and his powerful billionaire family, including his transgender cousin, are at the forefront of pushing a radical gender ideology and sexual education in our schools, medical facilities, according to a new report. The families whose fortune was built at the Hyatt hotel chain includes Governor and former Obama administration Secretary of Commerce Penny Pritzker and philanthropic Jennifer Pritzker, who was born a male and served in the Illinois National Guard. An exhaustive report from the Table magazine details how the wealthy family uses its philanthropic operation to drive an ideology and practice of disembodiment into our medical, legal, cultural, and education institutions. Here it goes into everything that Jennifer has donated to. UCLA School of Law, the National Center of Transgender Equity, Transgender Legal Defense, Education Fund, the American Civil Liberties Union, Paul Military System, the World Professional Association of Transgender. While Jennifer Pritzker doles out money, J.B. Pritzker is changing policy in Illinois to support the family's agenda. Pritzker signs into law new sex education standards. The testimony that you just heard from Sue Resin says they've gone too far. Governor Pritzker signs 2 bills updating sex education standards K through 12. The first bill is Senate Bill 818, and the second one is, sorry about this, I'm nervous. And House Bill 24. Illinois mandates comprehensive sex education in schools. So that's why we're here. It's not a I got you moment, because we know it was mandated. But if you listen to Sue Resin, we all have community standards. And when people are reaching out to me, and they are, and there was a report of something that happened here at LP, and that's what my second witness will be talking about. And it's not an a gotcha moment, it's just that it's just too much for our kids. It's too much. Illinois becomes the first state to adopt the second edition of the National Sex Education Standards. The Illinois State Board of Education will have a year to adopt these new sexual education standards. So I know something that's going on here in school is something that's new, that was just implemented, and I want it documented. My question to you as a board are parents being notified? Can the parents opt out of this explicit sexual education? And 2, it was brought to our attention, if a young girl approaches a faculty, staff that she's pregnant, that you don't have to notify the parents. Is that true? I yield my time. Thank you.
Barb Brown.
Hello. My name is Barb Brown, and I'm a taxpayer. And this is the first time I've ever been to a board meeting, and so it's kind of intimidating. But more than that is intimidating, and to me is shameful, is I have a friend, an older friend than me, and she had a granddaughter that she talked to about the sex education. Okay, my older friend, Patty, is watching television and they're telling about, what's going on in the education system. So when her granddaughter came to her home, she asked her. And her granddaughter goes to school here, and she was very embarrassed. She didn't even want to talk to Grandma about it. And I'm glad the young people left the room, because what she told her was that the school in the sex ed, and I think it's just been going on for the last 6 weeks, but anyway, end of school, they're using penises and condoms, and she's a freshman, and they have to learn how to put a condom on a penis, a real, plastic one, I mean, I'm just appalled at that. I get it, it's Pritzker, I get it. I get, that he wants Illinois to be the most progressive. I heard him say this 2 years ago. When he formed his 24-person board, that it's going to be the most progressive sexual sex ed teaching in the nation. I don't agree with that. As a taxpayer, I'm not agreeing with that, okay? And as I am a Christian, okay? But you know what? More than a Christian, there's Muslims, there's Hindus. There are many people of faith that teach their children not to have sex before they get married. And that's, you know, maybe that's taboo, and I know that our society is drenched in sex. So the children understand that, you know, they can pick up a phone or whatever. But you know what? That doesn't make it right, okay? I talked to 2 different mothers in the last 2 weeks, and one's go, oh, that's been going on. We used to do it on bananas. And the other mother was young. She was appalled. She's got 3 children, 1 on the way. She's like, are you kidding me? I can't believe they're doing that. This girl, that's the granddaughter of my friend, was embarrassed. She didn't even want to talk to her grandma about it. She said, Grandma, I don't want to even do it. You know, I don't want to be there. And the grandma's like older than me. Okay, so anyway, she's like, well, you know, honey, that's not right. So you should get out. Can you get out of that class? And she's like, no, I need to do that for a grade. I need to have that. She goes, but I don't even want to be in there. Okay, I don't believe every 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old wants to have sex before they get married. Why is a girl having to put a condom on a penis at 14? I'm sorry, guys. This really, never been to a board meeting. This really irritates me. I know it's all Prisker. I know you guys represent. My question is, can they opt out? I don't know who else to ask. Can they opt out of this class? Does anybody know? Can they opt out of that? I mean, who do I ask?
Well, I can tell you, we opted out of the bill.
I'm sorry? What does that mean?
That means we do not teach that curriculum.
Okay, so that girl goes to school here.
Well, ma'am, the only thing I can tell you is that we did talk to our instructors.
Okay.
We teach abstinence. We teach reproductive systems on the male and female and talk about birth control, but there's no demonstrations, there's no videos. That's the information that we received.
Okay, well, this girl goes to school here.
Okay, and I'm not.
Okay, so maybe you need to look into it further because the grandma asked her. She didn't approach
No,
grandma.
and we will look into it further.
Oh,
I
I'm
guarantee
thankful
that.
and I'm grateful.
I guarantee that.
Because I don't believe young people should have to do that. And if they, you know what, well, just let them opt out if they don't want to be. Kids talk. You guys know, y'all grew up. They talk, and they can talk. And what's wrong with pictures in a book? Why do we have to actually have a condom and a penis? And you know that? It's co-ed. So you know what the boys are doing in that class, okay? We don't have to say what's happening. But we know what's going on with the boys because they got a lot of hormones going on. And there's girls in there. So I believe, and I'm sorry, if this is embarrassing, it's embarrassing to me. But I'm thinking, I'm an advocate for these children. I'm thinking about the 14-year-old. I've never been to a board meeting, but it makes me very angry.
Yep.
And I'm angry at Prisker.
You have 1 minute.
Yeah, I'm angry at him. And I heard he said, I'm going to have this big progressive thing, and Illinois is going to be the most progressive, and I'm going to have a board of 24, okay? There was not one that I heard coming from. There's not one Christian. There's not one conservative. They were all very progressive people. How you teach children. Not everybody's like that. They're not. If we tell them they are, they will be. Okay, it's just, I know my ending is, it's like giving a child matches and saying, okay, here's a book of matches. Now I'm going to go to the store, and don't you start a fire in this house. You give young people the information, and of course it's going to be, they're going to, hey, let's get into this, I don't think it's the state's, I know this is the law, okay? We just heard that it's wrong, that they passed it at midnight. It is not the state's responsibility to teach this to young people. It is the parents. It is the the one that helps bring the child up at night. I mean, not the parents. What do you call that person? Guardian. Whatever that is. It's a grandpa that have the kid now. It is not the state's responsibility. And thank you for hearing me. I just want you to know what a freshman in this school, a girl, is totally wiped out, embarrassed to talk to her grandma. I'm sorry. Thank you for listening.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Should I ask if anybody Based on who signed up for public comment, those are the ones that have reported. Is there anyone else who would like to speak?
Is it just regarding this stuff? Okay. Yeah, I would. I haven't signed up.
That's fine. Just to go over the procedures once more, because you came in late, you have 5 minutes at the 4-minute mark.
Sure.
We'll tell you have 1 minute.
Yeah, I won't be long.
Name, please.
Jenny Clampett.
Okay.
My son is a junior in high school here. I also have a son at Northview in 3rd grade. Sorry, I'm very unorganized here. Let me get my notes together. Dr. Vleski, I was at your presentation, the forum. Great job. And I believe I met you as well, Dr. Lynch. Just a couple things I wanted to point out regarding the cell phones. Like as you stated in the email originally, I don't, think it'd be a blessing and a curse. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. I completely, 100% agree. However, technology is only increasing and it's always going to be there, whether we take it away from the students or not. After high school, many of the students will be on their own, and while I do agree with some of the points that you made, not just you, that you presented. I'm sorry. I'm not for the policy. I don't think it's necessary to be implemented, and I just want some things taken into consideration before you approve it. Some concerns, which I don't have this in my notes, but after what the 3 ladies just presented, just that, for instance, this, your students being in an uncomfortable situation at school and having to, not sure what to do, like you can't just run to the office and use the phone, you might need your parents' guidance or to just send a quick text when you can and not have to run to your locker, get your phone, whatever. But also, some other things is, I understand you're trying to, follow suit with some of the other schools that are implementing this, and all I know of is, like I mentioned, St. Bede, and I know they are ranked pretty high as a private school, like, I forget what it is, like they're in the top 15 or something ranked. Also, I think 7 of 10 actually of the boarding schools in Illinois. Also, there was examples of a teacher doing an experiment with the students having to turn their phones on so you could hear the notifications and keep track of them. Like, the students are supposed to keep their phones off and on silent, and they were asked to turn them on. So that's, those notifications are still coming in, so they're still gonna get those, and they're still gonna respond to them at another time. So possibly, while they're, in between classes or after school in the parking lot, whatever, it's not like it's gonna make that go away. Just trying to read my own handwriting here, sorry.
You have 1 minute.
1 minute. I'm gonna skip over some of this. Okay. You you stated phones are addictive. Replacing, like, you're just gonna replace an old habit with a new one. And also, I feel like the teachers should be, like, it's their responsibility to, and, like, for instance, my son has 2 periods, first and second period. He has a class where he's got nothing for the rest of the year. And in fact, yesterday and part of today, there was no teacher in the room. This was in the ACC building, and they all just are on their phones. So I mean, I feel like it's the teacher's responsibility to enforce those rules and to teach the students responsibility.
That is 5 minutes.
On their phones. And also if you can just look into the repercussions of what the outcome of what could happen with it increasing anxiety, heart rate, panic attacks. There is a thing called nomophobia, and couldn't think of the word the other day, but figured it out. It's nomophobia. It is a thing, and people do have to go get mental health to deal with that issue. So if you could just look at the, consider monitoring the before you transition and after, and the student's mental health. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to finance. I need a motion of approval for the bills and payroll for Salle-Peru Township High School.
So moved.
Mr. Murba?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. Need a motion of approval for the bills and payroll for the LP Area Career Center.
So moved. Second.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mr. Murba?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. Need a motion of approval for the payroll report.
So moved.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Murba?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. Need a motion of approval of the financial records.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Murba?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. Under correspondence, we have TIF reimbursements this month from the Village of Tonica TIF for $38.71. So the total TIFs at this point is $38.71. Board committee reports, Building and Grounds Committee, Mr. Ferrari.
Okay, the Building and Grounds Committee met on Monday, May 6th. We discussed the ongoing work at the sports complex. We're still waiting on prices for a couple of press box windows from Coolmaster. And we're getting some quotes regarding extending the safety netting near the discus throw pit. And the spring and summer facility projects, there was a pre-construction meeting that was scheduled for later that week regarding the renovations at Howard Fellows Stadium. There is some asbestos abatement that's going to be required in the renovations this summer on the counseling and PE coach's office. So we talked about that a little bit. They're reviewing plans regarding the changes at the Dolan building for the health occupations classroom and the early childhood playground. They apparently have located the problem that's causing the plaster bubbling in Science Lab Room 317. There's going to need to be some more tuck pointing of the bricks in that area, and maybe doing some additional repairs and sealing of the exterior of the building to keep water out. We're also looking at some new styles for the banner hangers from the light poles in the parking lots. The only action item was, will be number 10.10 on tonight's agenda. We'll be putting bids out for renovations to the, over by the gym, the snack bar area, where they have the sip and savor operation, and that was unanimously recommended by the committee. Apparently applications for building permits for the work on the stadium this summer are also going to be submitted shortly. And that was about it for the committee.
Are there any questions? Thank you, Mr. Ferrari. Policy Committee, Mrs. Elkhorn.
We met and discussed many things. The first one was the cell phone policy, and we appreciate all the work that many different departments and people have done to develop this important new direction in our educational environment. Thank you, Gary, for your contribution in that process. We appreciate that. After much consideration and listening, the committee is recommending approval of the new policy. The cut policy, after several years of issues with sports teams and number of participants, the coaches asked the administration to address the concerns. We are still working on that, so it'll be next month when we address that. Extended Wednesdays, it was identified that Saturday school for students who have earned a discipline is not being well attended. The new proposed policy is to discontinue Saturday school and move this program to Wednesdays, beginning right after early dismissal. Students will remain on campus for the assigned disciplinary measures of 1, 2, or 3 hours. This will reduce the transportation issues that occur on Saturdays, and we hope that it will be more productive for the purpose with which it exists, is to bring some behavior modifications. The committee recommends approval of this change. School detentions. It is proposed modification to the current duration of the school detention from 60 minutes to 30 minutes. This would be served before or after school on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, or Fridays, not on Wednesday when the other program is existing. By offering both morning and afternoon sessions, students will have the flexibility to choose the time that best fits their schedule. The committee recommends approval of this change. Press update, there's lots of new language that defines bullying and racism from the legislator, and we are working on that, and we will bring that next month. Student handbook, these changes that relate to policy changes and schedules that we've worked on in the past couple months. Some of them are final exam scheduling, the security one, technology updates and upgrades, disciplinary procedures, addressing and defining racism more intentionally, and date changes for all our programs in our schools. And that is what we covered.
Okay, any questions? Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Elkhorn.
Thank you.
Finance Committee, Mr. Murbuth.
We met yesterday, talked about a lot of things. As you saw from the stuff we just approved, we're 83.3% of the way through the year. Revenue received is 92.5%, and expenses are 82.03%. The reason we're a little bit off, and there's some other things that are coming later, is ESSER funds are through September, so some of those expenditures will be after the end of the fiscal year. We talked briefly about the tax year 2023 extension updates. I believe there's a comment in your superintendent update regarding Bureau County, LaSalle County we have not yet gotten. We also talked about the health, dental, eye insurance costs for 2024-25. It is a 12.3% increase, but it is important to note that this is still a significant savings from when we converted to this new plan in the year 2019 and 2020. So there has been significant savings for those years by the conversion to that plan, but we do recommend approval of that as an agenda item. We also talked about the 2024 temporary summer workers, the recommendation, and we also recommend that. Then the bid, to let the bid request for the Sip and Savor renovation, that's an action item that we also voted to approve. Then we also discussed the LP Sports Complex Phase 2 updates, same thing that Gary talked about. And then the spring summer 2024 facility project updates, and recommended approval for the counseling office, PE coach's office renovation, the abatement to begin on that. And then we talked about the early childhood playground and the health occupations classroom, and recommend allowing the authority to approve the construction on the playground. And then we also reviewed the copy machine RFP update, and it's notated and it's in here as an action item, I believe, for Marco to receive that. We reviewed those bids. And then we talked about bid updates for milk, pizza, and bread, and we didn't have milk and bread, but pizza has got determined, and that's in the packet, and we recommend approval for that. And that's pretty much it. That was the meeting.
Pizza.
Are there any questions? Thank you, Mr. Murphy.
Thank you.
Administrative reports, superintendent's report, Dr. Obleski.
Thank you, Mr. Sarver. We've really only kind of touched on where we are with the extension. We're still waiting for the LaSalle County extension to arrive, so we're hoping that sometime in the next week or two that we'll have that information. That will be really critical for Mrs. Doze and I to begin moving forward with the budgeting process, and so that way there we can confirm what our revenue stream is going to be looking like on our tax receipts. Budget planning is continuing to move forward as well. Meetings have taken place with all the division chairs. And then we've got, Jen and I have time blocked out in June and July to then begin working on the actual budget planner. So we can then begin to plug in all of the cells. That will be in a position then to be able to present a tentative budget to the board in August. If you have any special powers that would help with weather, please invoke those. Beginning now would be appreciated. So we're going to wait as late as we possibly can tomorrow to before I make a final decision on whether we'll be indoors or out. So we've had years in the past where the forecast was looking gloomy, and then the winds came in and blew it away, and we ended up having a beautiful ceremony. So that's what we're going to be hoping for tomorrow. Received one FOIA request since our last board meeting. That was from a Mr. Brett Ellis, who is with Walt Label and Mailing Systems, and had requested a copy of our current lease agreement that we have with our current postage machine provider. And we provided that. Mrs. Riva responded to that request in the appropriate time frame. So that's all I have, unless there are questions.
Thank you. Principal's report, acting principal, Dr. Gibson.
Good evening, everyone. Just want to hit on a couple of high points. First of all, our teachers, faculty, our staff, everybody in the building are working very, very hard to get our students across the finish line here at the very end. So not only just our senior graduates, but every other class. We're working hard to make sure that we finish strong, and so I'm proud of the work that's going on in the building there. Graduation, as Dr. Robleski just alluded to, we had our practice today. We practiced both inside and out at the stadium, and so the kids got a really good feel for both of the different venues. They did fantastic. I thought it went over very, very well. The students were extremely attentive and went through the process just without hitch. So I'm looking forward to a very honorable ceremony with them tomorrow, and with all of you and joining in that as well. So we're looking forward to that. Our end of the year celebration is Thursday, May 30th. This is in your packet, but I just wanted to say that we always welcome and appreciate your attendance at that. You are welcome to certainly come, and we honor our retirees at that time, and just kind of bring the school year to a close. And so certainly you being there is so much appreciated as well. Been working with Miss Lance a little bit with the registration process. Hard to believe we're saying that, but registration is right around the corner in August, and so we are starting the wheels turning on that process. And then I also want to give kudos to Miss Lance and her team on, I mentioned in my report that we've completed all of our safety drills for the school year. Her and her team do just a fantastic job of leading us through that, being very reflective at the end of each drill so that we can improve upon any gaps that may exist out there. And then the last thing I did not include in my report, but I just wanted to give everyone just a brief update on we had a Renaissance rally. I'm not sure if you're familiar with our Renaissance rally. It was the first one since COVID, and so I came during COVID, and so I had not experienced a Renaissance rally. It was a fantastic experience. We had all of our student body together in the auditorium. It is a student-led assembly where we just honor and recognize all of the great things that our kids do on a daily basis. There was a trivia game, and the students won. I won't mention any names of anybody who might have been on the faculty side here today. So
I got robbed.
It was just a really good experience. It exposed me to just some great things that are going. It's just another one of the great things that are going on in our building. So with that, I'll answer any questions if there are any. Thank you.
Thank you. Athletic Director.
He's at regionals.
Yeah, report is in your packet. The Director of the Area Career Center, Mr. Mencken, and I did not realize this until I walked in tonight. This is his last meeting. I would like to thank you for all your hard work and dedication.
That was actually the end of my report, but I'll start off by offering you a sincere thank you for the 8 years of support during my tenure, as well as the support that's been given to the Career Center since its inception. It's nice to see a community value that other side of education and what it offers and what it brings to students who find themselves when they come there. So thank you all very much for all of that. And if you look through my report, I definitely wanted to, I'll leave it here if anyone didn't get to see it, but a copy of the last newsletter, if you want to take a hard copy and look at that, you can pick up on the way out. But as we finish up here, Jeanette's still totaling. We may end up with more, but the Career Center ended, we closed to 200 industry certifications in the different programs we offer, over 350 credit hours of dual credit. There'll probably be some more rolling in. The new director coming in, Dr. Lang, is working as we speak with IVCC. We do a thing with OSHA certifications, and we're fairly confident we can get it through that all the kids that earned OSHA certification this year, which is well over 100, will be able to qualify for the 1-hour safety class over at IVCC and get that credit as well. So that'll add into the credit hours earned. They're working on that right now.
That's huge.
We have our summer showcase coming up. As of today, we have slightly over 65 kids. Close to half of them are staying the whole day with us and going afternoon and morning session to partake. We're proud to say this year we were able to include an ag program as an exploratory experience. We have 2 instructors from Streeter coming up. If you are not familiar with Riley Hinge from Streeter, just a nationally recognized ag teacher, and so we're very happy to have him and his assistant instructor up here to help with that program. As of today, we ended with our partner schools, with the exception of Ottawa. Ottawa will be here till Friday, but on the Shrafty side of my job, I was able to offer the teachers some extra money, so students that will be with us till the end, which primarily LP, but other students are welcome to finish up individual projects, which Shrafty will fund the supplies for if they want to do something personal to them within the classes they're at. And then we definitely want to thank Mr. Tom Kowalski, Dr. Robleski, Mr. Temanello, and Mr. Kometz for all the work that's been done to get that playground getting ready to get going. And it's an exciting thing to have that start up in the summer and be ready for the school year with them. The kids were already out there exploring the grass at the end of the year. They love the grass. I don't even know what they're going to feel like when they see that stuff, all the stuff coming out there. So, a couple things just came in today. IVCH, which of course is closed, I had an auxiliary group there. They're disbanding and dispersing money, and so they offered and our nurses will accept next week a $2,000 donation from them to support their program. And as Dr. Robleski noted in his, next week at the Superintendent's Board of Control for the Career Center, we'll present our proposed budget. I'm happy to say that with the approved tuition increase and things, it's a lot of breathing room now. So some nice little things should be able to come out from that with the new instructor, or with the new director, and that support from the other schools to make ends meet, so that we, you know, the teachers have done a great job for the past 4 years of really cutting down on their demands and tightening their budgets. Now they'll be able to breathe just a little bit more and do some extra things with the kids. If there's any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Director of Communications, Mr. Baker.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Our streaming cart remains busy as we approach the end of the school year. So since we last met, we've had choir concert, band concert, and senior awards night all go out to the community. The choir concert in particular got some rave reviews. Really nice pop show that Mrs. Ruthie and her students put on. Also the last performance for Mrs. Engel as our accompanist. Looking forward to tomorrow, depending on this weather that Mr. Robleski's going to be dancing to stay away. We're ready to go with either live streaming graduation from the gym, or if we end up in the stadium, we'll record and then post everything the next day. If we do end up in the gym, the nice piece would be we put a little work in today, and we've got some special graphics that are up on our big new monitor in the gym. So it would be a way to showcase that before we even get into next year's fall season. So I'm kind of excited to do that if we do end up indoors. Some other piece, the LP Foundation is kind of wrapping up their season. We'll be taking a little hiatus until next fall, but ended the year with hosting lunch for the full faculty and staff during Teacher Appreciation Week last week. So we were out on the grills cooking, had food brought in from Hy-Vee. All the teachers got a nice free lunch that day. And then one other thing, not on my original report, but I thought it might be worth it for just your appreciation, how the Herbolsheimer Alumni Room is continuing to give and really pay off. So one of the things that had come up, as you know, during homecoming season, Dr. Robleski and I often give tours to alumni groups and that sort of thing. But the reality is, like, throughout the year, we'll have alumni or family of alumni popping in and hoping to get a chance to see the building, and we try to accommodate that as much as possible. And just in the past month alone, I've had a couple of groups come in. One was an alumni from I want to say the 50s or early 60s who was out of the area, was back visiting with family, wanted to see the school again. We got him to come in. Another was a pair of siblings whose parents graduated from LP in the early 50s. They then moved out of state. They grew up in New Jersey, New Orleans. They live all over the country now. And their parents have passed away, so they happened to be back. They wanted to see the school as part of some of the activities they were doing of kind of reconnecting to the community. And being able to take groups like that, especially ones like that where they don't necessarily have a connection to the building. For them, it was the first time they'd ever been in the auditorium, and they were blown away by it. They just heard stories from their parents. But be able to take them in a space like the alumni room that's so beautiful, filled with those artifacts, and then to have that selection of our old yearbooks on display, to be able to pull out, find their families, and show them, it's really creating some great moments for what we do in the building. So it's, again, I guess thanks for the work that the board did to make that happen, Dr. Robleski and the Herbolsheimer family. And also the collection in there is growing. We just recently had an alumni donate back to the school a large collection of marching band scrapbooks from the mid-60s. So those are on the shelf now too for when people come through. And I believe we're going to be working with Mrs. Ziegler's local history a little bit more next year to find more ways to use some of the artifacts that we have in display on there now as part of their research projects and that sort of thing. So that's all, unless you have any questions. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, under new business, 10.1, a motion of approval of the final 2023-2024 district calendar.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Murbaugh?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. A motion of approval, 10.2, any motion of approval of the 2024-2025 district consolidated plan.
So moved. Second.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mr. Murbaugh?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.3, I need a motion of approval for the 2024-2025 district insurance premiums.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Murbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.4, need a motion of approval for the contract with Marco from 2024 to 2029 for multi-function copier lease with maintenance and managed print services.
So moved. Second.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mr. Murbaugh?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.5, need a motion of approval to award the pizza bid contracts for 2024, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Murbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.6, need a motion of approval of the contract with Valor Technologies for asbestos abatement for $12,950.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Murbaugh?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.7, a motion of approval to submit building permit applications for the following summer 2024 projects. A, Howard Fellows Stadium renovation. B, ACC CR E116 overhead coiling door. And C, early childhood playground project.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Murbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.8, a motion of approval to submit application for occupancy of the following projects. A, main building abatement, amendment 84, exterior doors. B, auto shop amendment 7, abatement and window work. And C, auto shop amendment 8, rooftop heater.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Murbaugh?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.9, I need a motion of approval to submit application for statement of completion of the following projects. A, main building amendment 84, exterior doors. B, auto shop amendment 8, rooftop heater. C, east gym amendment 19, downspout repairs. And D, east gym amendment 20, downspout repairs, additional funding.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Murbaugh?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.10, need a motion of approval to let bids for the concession space remodel for the Sip and Savor.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Murbaugh?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.11 is the press policy, issue 114 is the first reading. 10.12, any motion of approval for the cell phone electronic device policy proposal.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mr. Murbaugh?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.13 is the athletic cut policy proposal, is the first reading. 10.14, any motion of approval of the extended Wednesdays proposal.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mr. Murbaugh?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.15, any emotional approval for the school detentions proposal.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mr. Murbaugh?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.16, any emotional approval for the 2024-2025 student handbook updates.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Murbaugh?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.17, any emotional approval of the bloodborne pathogens exposure control plan for the 2024-2025 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Murbaugh?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mr. Pacetto?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.18, any emotional approval of resolution assuring reemployment for the 2024-2025 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mr. Murbaugh?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mr. Pizzetto?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.19, a motion of approval for the following retirements with regret. Mrs. Diane Delzot, food service production staff cashier, effective May 24th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mr. Pizzetto?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Murbaugh?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.20, we need a motion of approval for the following resignations. A, Ms. Alika Kelly, Assistant Cheer Coach, effective the conclusion of the 2023-2024 school year. B, Mrs. Shelley Phillips, Writing Club Sponsor, effective the conclusion of the 23-24 school year. C, Mr. Andrew Nelson, Assistant Baseball Coach, effective the conclusion of the 2023-2024 school year. And D, Mr. Matthew Rebholz, Assistant Football Coach, effective the conclusion of the 2023-2024 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mr. Murbaugh?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Pizzetto?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.21, need a motion of approval for the following appointments. Miss Nicole Trinka, volunteer volleyball coach, effective for the 2024-2025 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Murbaugh?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mr. Pizzetto?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.22, I need a motion of approval to rehire the following positions for the 2024-2025 school year. A, Mrs. Amy Williams, Director of Technology. B, Mr. Scott Leonard, Technology Technician. C, Mr. Russ Anderson, Help Desk Technician. D, Mr. Matt Baker, Director of Communications. E, Mrs. Sue Brooker, AAP Coordinator. F, Mrs. Jennifer Doe's Building Manager, Business Manager, excuse me. G, Mr. Tim Tominello, Director of Building and Grounds. And H, Mr. Bobby Rahadi, Director of Food and Nutrition Services.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Mr. Murbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mr. Pizzetto?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.23, I need a motion of approval for the following summer 2024 temporary positions as presented in the following categories. A, summer school staff. B, summer building and grounds extra help. And C, summer technology help.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Pizzetto?
Yes.
Mr. Murbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. 10.24, I need emotional approval for maternity FMLA request. Mrs. Vanessa Nickisher, beginning on or about Friday, August 23rd, 2024, and returning on Friday, October 4th, 2024. She'll be using her accumulated sick days to cover the leave.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Murbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mr. Pizzetto?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes. I need a motion to adjourn to executive closed session for the purpose of A, discussion of the minutes of the meetings lawfully closed under the Opens Meeting Act, whether for the purpose of approval by the body of the minutes or semi-annual review of the minutes. B, appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employee. C, collective bargaining, negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives, or deliberation concerning salary schools for one or more class of employees. And E, imminent pending litigation with open session and possible action items to follow.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Murbaugh?
Yes.
Mrs. Alcorn?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mrs. Taliani?
Yes.
Dr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Pizzetto?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Yes.